Saliba, it was mentioned before about how initially he went to the 3 loan spells and then came through that. He's now obviously one of your main players. If you look across the first team in the last couple of seasons, there's not really been that route where you've sent players out on loan who are young and then they've come back and then risen to the first team. Why has that particular route really not been utilised much at all since William, would you say?
Well, we very rarely have recruited 18 years old in that position at that price.
Across the, not just centre back, I mean across the...
Well, that signing was done before I arrived as well, and I didn't really know the expectation that we had in relation to that. But in that moment, my opinion was that the room that he had in the squad, the environment that he had in the squad, and I would say the capacity that he has to impact the team with what we needed, it wasn't ideal. And we decided to loan him and to give him the exposure that he needs, to let him mature as well in a different league with a different coach, and then he was ready for it.
You often talk about the atmosphere at the Emirates and how good it is and how you want to keep improving it every season. Do you look at places like Newcastle, for example, where at St James's Park, crazy atmosphere, arguably maybe has an impact on certain things at times? Do you kind of look at that and think this is the reason why you want to bolster the atmosphere at the Emirates?
For sure, we can learn and take things from many clubs, and in Europe there are some great examples as well. One thing is the things that we can do externally to that. We cannot compare ourselves to a city as well that has got one club, which brings everything together much easier. In London, unfortunately, we have so many, and it's a very different context. But as well, I think there is a history between that crowd and that team. And the moment that you start to go through nights like we went last year, that creates that bond and that will to experience and be willing to experience those nights again. And I think we have started to create that story, and hopefully tomorrow we create another one.
Charlie from the side, please.
In terms of, you mentioned William wanting to commit, and it would be really important for him to stay. How important is it for you to have a really happy camp, to have lots of players who committed themselves to the club, which they have? You've signed lots of new players as well. Because it's not always like that at some clubs, isn't it? How important is it for you for everyone to really want to be here?
Well, that's a great question. That's exactly what we need as a club. Obviously, me as a manager and everybody that works with them, that they feel that they have that sense of belonging, that they can continue the journey here, that they feel that they are in the right place, not only in the club as well, in the city, the way we look after them, their families, and that they feel that they can be pushed here to do and to achieve what we want to achieve. And when people feel and express that by words and then especially by acts, like committing with the club for many years, that's the better sign that we can get.
Yeah, just on Saliba, he said in his on the website, he was quoted saying, "I'm happy now, but not 100% happy because we have to do more. We want to win titles because it's what we want." So, do you like to hear that from your players? Saying that the job's not done yet.
Yes, well, and that was the conversation that we're having with everybody that wants to continue here. That we want to continue here to finalize and to start to achieve the things that we want, and that's the aim.
And do you sense after the weekend, obviously you had a bad record at Newcastle, you had an amazing win. Do you sense there's that sort of growing belief now among the players that this could be the season?
Well, that creates momentum and energy, and at the end we go what we deserve it. But it was done in a special manner that now we need to use that momentum and energy to go tomorrow and play with the same quality, with the same intensity and effectiveness to beat Olympiakos.
Okay, last couple, Brian.
Hi, Mikel. Last week you said that Noni was potentially going to have another scan. Are you any clearer on how long he'll be sidelined for?
No, he hasn't had a scan yet, so he needs to wait a little bit more. He's still with a brace and everything, so he's still in a stage that everything is super protective. And once he comes out of that and has the scan, we'll have more clarity about it.
And just on Ethan, there were suggestions that he travelled to Newcastle but wasn't included in the matchday squad due to just selection. Obviously, you've got a big squad now.
No.
Is that true? And if so, did you have to speak to him and give him a little bit of a talking to? Because obviously there's increased competition this season, but he's a young player with potential.
So yeah, I talked to all the players and we had a meeting specifically about that and the scenarios that we were going to have throughout the season. And some of them they're going to start, some of them they're going to finish the game, some of them they're going to be on the bench and don't be participated, and some of them unfortunately are going to be out of the squad because with the Premier League you have the limitation with the numbers, and sometimes we have to travel more players because things can happen, somebody can get ill, or we have a doubt with somebody whether the next morning is going to be available to play, and unfortunately we have to do that. But I mean the attitude of every player, because we have explained them and personally they know how we feel about it, it's been really good, and they will have the chances to play.
Okay, finally over to Gareth.
Speak about something. Can you remember some of his early conversations with William? Because perhaps when he arrived, he was a little bit more immature as a young player, and there were some things away maybe in his other parts of his life. Can you remember some of those conversations? Because you were obviously also a young coach, having that conversation. Can you remember those conversations?
Yeah, not exactly. I know the tone and the difficulty of them, because at the end you're telling a player that, in your opinion, the best thing is to go on low and have minutes and exposure, which at the same time means that, yeah, here probably is not the right place for you right now. And very difficult for probably a player at that age that has signed for us and has big expectation to swallow that. But he did it with incredible maturity, being really patient, without judging too much our decision, and basically proving everybody wrong, or the fact that he was very good and he can actually do it, and he deserves a place at the club.
Okay, guys, thanks very much.
Thank you.